Hi world, welcome to this video. This is Tina from tinaheals.com. So this video will deal primarily with Chiron through the 12 signs. So if you want to know more in detail about Chiron and his archetype, then please click my last video where I discuss in detail everything to do with Chiron. But here I will concentrate more on Chiron through the 12 signs. Of course, I'll explain to you what Chiron means. So Chiron in astrology is the archetype of the shaman, and it also refers to the wound that never heals. So Chiron is a centaur, half asteroid, half comet in astronomy, and in the Greek myths he's half mortal and half god. So there is an inherent duality in the very fabric of Chiron's energy signature. Okay, duality: half mortal, half god, half asteroid, half comet. So the glyph of Chiron is a key which opens up psychic energy and doors to parallel worlds. Okay, Chiron is also as Chiron is the teacher, the wounded healer, and Chiron is essentially a healer that cannot heal himself. Okay, but he's a great mentor, he's a great oracle, a great teacher, great astrologer, and has mentored very many gods, and but he cannot heal himself. So this is something about Chiron that we have to work with. Chiron will give us trauma. Chiron is also similar to Saturn's energy signature, whereby it brings restriction and confinement. But Chiron will also provide the salve, okay? Will provide the bandage, so to speak, okay? So George Orwell had this very interesting quote that we can tie up with the archetype of Chiron, and it goes like this, that at 50, everyone has the face he deserves. So by the time we hit our Chiron return, which happens at about 51, we are essentially who we are to the world. Of course, unless we're extremely deceptive and we live a dual life, then no. But otherwise, for most of us, by the time we are 50, we wear the face we deserve. Okay, it comes to us through our karma, through our wounding, through how we handle it. It's what makes us. Okay, by 50 we have a clear definition of who we are. Also, the planets have reached maturation. The latest to reach maturation is the South Node and the North Node, which do so at 47. So by 51, with your Chiron return, you now have a clear understanding of how to deal with your wounding, of how to deal with your triggers. But before that, you have to work through these chironic energies and woundings, and you have to let the light enter. So if you have your Chiron in Aries, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and deals with the first house. This is the house of the self, identity. So with Chiron in Aries, there could always be wounding that has to deal with identity, with who we are, a question about what we stand for or who we believe who we are. Okay, so with Aries, there's also the sign of initiation. So there could be a lot of initiations and no completion with Chiron and Aries. Okay, then this is also the first house and ruled by Mars. So Chiron and Mars in hard aspects can lead to a lot of problematic situations. So essentially, Chiron in Aries will do with a particular wounding that has to do with our sense of self. Okay, and this wounding later on, once we assimilate the chironic lessons, these wounds can become our greatest strengths, and we can mentor many people about how these chironic wounds work. Okay, because think of the glyph of Chiron, a key. Okay, so there's always this key that's available to you with Chiron, you know. Now, so Chiron in Taurus. Now, Chiron is the wound that never heals, but it's also the wound that provides the medicine for soul growth. Okay, it is who the wounds we need to embrace, the wounds we need to acknowledge and integrate to become who we are. Now, Taurus, the second sign of the zodiac, has to do with finance, beauty, harmony. It's the most feminine sign of the zodiac. It deals with dark night and the womb energy. It's a fixed sign, and it's a sign of the bull. So there's a stagnant energy to this. So Chiron in Taurus may have to do with financial wounding. Uh, you know, where nothing is enough. You may feel the need to hoard things, okay, and this will result in its own wounding. Okay, so if you understand that homeopathic medicine, the lesser the dose, the more potent it becomes. Okay, and all these homeopathic medicines are essentially poisons treating other poisons. So with Chiron and Taurus, there could also be wounding with regards to how you perceive yourself, the beauty, and your physical body. Because remember, Taurus also represents the physical body. So here you may have wounding that has to do with banks. Maybe you get caught in a death trap with a bank, or you get caught in this vicious cycle of maybe something your ancestor did, and then you got paying maybe a provident fund thing that happened, or some investment that went south, or maybe a scam that took place. So this could happen with Chiron and Taurus. Okay, Chiron and Taurus is also, of course, very much about understanding energy and how energy moves around the body. A lot of people with Chiron and Taurus can be great at massage and great at energy work, okay? And once you're 51, you would have understood what Chiron wants to teach you, and whereby you will understand that whatever issues or whatever, you know, hopelessness you faced around maybe finances, or maybe defining your own style, was necessary. Okay, it ultimately made you who you are. So that's the chironic wound. Ironically, it's a wound that never heals, but it's a wound that makes you you. Okay, what makes you you? Like your fingerprint is unique, okay, that makes you you. But there is your energy, there is the way you understand the concept of wounding. Okay, we all understand we have to go through trauma in this 3D world. There is no escaping it. Okay, and Chiron undertook this whole healing journey. His desire for knowledge was because of a wound that tortured him a great deal, just like so many of us. You know, we go out there and we Google and we want to discover what's happening with us. Is there anybody else in the world that's feeling this vibe or this energy or this problem? Okay, before the internet, we were all isolated, thinking that, oh my God, am I the only one? People who were into maybe different types of sexual preferences, maybe they felt completely misunderstood, or maybe they're the only ones. Okay, and now with the internet opening up and people realizing, okay, there are more people like that. So this is what is going on. You can discover that your wounds, the way you've experienced them, can greatly help other people. Okay, now Chiron in Gemini, you can have a wounding with communication. So you may not be able to communicate, or you may have some sort of wounding to deal with your local neighborhood, or you may have some sort of wounding that deals with your siblings. Okay, third house, Gemini, and whatever house it is, of course, you have to piece together the story, but Gemini is the third house. Okay, so this is to do with mercurial things, okay, how you communicate, how you store information, how you analyze, how you assimilate. Okay, so that could happen. Maybe some kind of miscommunication with your siblings, but after 51 hopefully you solve it, and because you get that opportunity with Chiron. As I said, every time you experience a Chiron return, and most of us will experience it only once in life, and it is so special because at that point you realize that, okay, yeah, that triggered me, but it doesn't anymore, because I have really outgrown that pattern of thinking, or that is no more my identity. My wound is not my identity. I'm not the pain, I'm not the trauma, I'm not the victim, I'm not the perp. I am who I am, and I am essentially a slice of infinity, within an infinity, wrapped around an infinity. So Chiron is psychic, it's deep, it's psychic, it's as Richard Bach said, you need to teach what you need to learn most. You teach what you need to learn most. Okay, so this is Chiron. I think Chironic teachers who are experiencing their Chiron aspects, or going through different Chironic sentiments, they understand that by teaching do you truly learn. Okay, sometimes when you cannot deal with your life, this is what Chiron did. Maybe his pain was so very intense that he could not deal with it. So even though he set out learning all these great healing techniques and healing methods, but ultimately they did not work for him. They may have reduced the pain or given him some relief, but they did not heal him completely. Okay, but he understood that, okay, I can heal somebody else with this. I learned this not to throw it away. I learned it because I can help somebody else with it. Why shouldn't I do it? And by healing somebody else, I heal that in myself. That is the biggest thing about the Chironic lessons, that by healing someone else, we heal ourselves. The pain goes away, and this is so very true. Being an energy worker, being someone who delves into the realm of spirit, it is so true. Once you work with other people, you tend to forget your own issues, and that's what Chiron did. Okay, he was a great teacher. He knew astrology. He was a great oracle. He used to know botany. He was extremely educated, and he was the most righteous of all the centaurs. So he was different, and centaurs were this really bacchanalian bunch. They indulged in drunken revelry and rampant sexual orgies, but Chiron was not like that. He had his moral compass straight. He understood what he wanted to do. That's why probably he was so philosophical. He understood that, okay, the wound, my wound may not heal, but I can heal somebody else with this knowledge, this vibe, this intention, and that's what he set out to do. That's what every single teacher or a facilitator or energy worker sets out to do, actually, if you ask me. We set out to heal other people, even if we are not healed ourselves, even if we are not whole. So Chiron is definitely trauma and a wound that never heals, but this wound is necessary. And you begin by acknowledging this wound. Now Chiron in Cancer, definitely wounding about the family, about your mother, maybe even breasts, okay, family traditions. Cancer has to do with all these things: protection, nurturing. Maybe you were nurtured not enough. Maybe you had an overbearing mother who nurtured you a bit too much. Okay, so there's always the necessity of balance And that Chiron teaches us that everything is about balance. He was half mortal, half god. Okay, in the myths, in astrology, in astronomy, is half comet, half asteroid. So there's always this middle path that Chiron takes and wants us to take. The path that must be walked in the realm of duality. Okay, now so Chiron in Cancer will definitely, you need to understand what your triggers are, and you need to forgive and forget. Okay, Cancer, you will see a lot of shift and flux and change when it comes to your family life. If Chiron sits there, if you have a hard aspect. Okay, if it's your 8th house, you may have some sort of sexual trauma by someone who was supposed to be a caregiver, but landed up abusing you. So this is this. But again, then you can be a great social worker with Chiron and Cancer. You can be a great compassionate listener. Okay, Cancerians do know how to listen, especially with Chiron and Cancer. You know how to listen. Okay. Now, Chiron in Leo. So always there will be wounding when it has to do with artistry or creative expression or acting. Okay, Leo is a sign of the actor, or politics. Okay, even the energy from this in the solar plexus may be difficult to work with. Okay, and this can result in a whole bunch of imbalances. Extreme ego, okay, extreme narcissism. But then again, you will face all the trauma you need to face with this narcissism, and hopefully by the time you're 51, you have understood why, what, when, what did you fall in love with yourself? Why did you fall in love with yourself? What was there within you that made you fall in love? Was it the outside, the inside, or did you understand that you are a part of the all? Okay, Leo is a sign of the individual, the artist, royalty. Okay, so there's always going to be a wounding when it comes to creative self-expression and individual identity, and being able to stand out and command a crowd. But if you learn the Chironic lessons, you will just get better at that. Okay, the wound is the medicine. Okay, the pain is the salve, right? Now think of the glyph of Chiron. It opens up the doors of parallel worlds. Okay, it opens parallel doors of perception. You can see what you could not see before. So that's what Chiron, with its transits and aspects, that's what it does for us. Okay, now Chiron in Virgo definitely will deal with your digestive system, wounding maybe to do with food disorder, bulimia, anorexia, wounding with cutting, maybe your physical body. Some sort of Virgo is a physical body. Your day-to-day activities, there could be some trauma that can happen. There could be you feeling not good enough with Chiron in Virgo. It's always a wound of not being able to be of service when all you want to do is be industrious. That's a Virgo energy. So with Chiron in Virgo, there could be wounding about our physical health and our physical well-being, because in Virgo, the body wants to reach perfection, to reunite itself with source, to be one with God, because the physical is very much an expression of the divine, as is the mental, as is the spiritual. So the physical body is actually a temple, and in Virgo, the sign of the Vestal Virgins, to understand that. And Chiron, when it wounds, Chiron wounding is psychic energy opening. So through all of this, there can be tremendous understanding of how the physical body works, or maybe come up with the best diet that not only you can use, but you can help other people use and get into it. Chiron in Virgo definitely interested in different types of food and wellness, totally into wellness, surely. And as I said, day-to-day structuring, there could be wounding in the initial periods, but chironic wounds get easy. So hopefully by the time, you are 40, 41, 42, you're kind of like, beginning to understand how to use your day to your best advantage. Okay. Always remember, psychic energies is penetrating your whole being through these chironic wounds. Okay, this quote by Rumi: "If you desire healing, let yourself fall ill." So this is so Chiron in Virgo, because Virgo desires healing like none other. It is the sign of the healer, the archetype of this, the healer, the medicine woman, the doctor, the person who provides service, the servant. Okay, I know we look down upon servant, but without service, where would we be? We need service. Okay, so that's what Chiron in Virgo is here to understand through wounding, and then teach us ultimately lessons on service and humility. Okay, now a Chiron in Libra will definitely be wounding when it comes to relationships and partnerships. You want to be whole, through your relationships, and you want fulfillment through them, but there will always be some sort of trauma that you can't get over. Maybe someone is not loving you enough, maybe you never get the person you love, or maybe there's unrequited love, or maybe someone falls out of love, or something to do with your love life, your marriage, your partnerships. They don't provide you satisfaction, and they wound you over and over again. It's like this repeated vicious cycle that is created. Okay, because Chiron also tells us about our love life. So, especially with aspects to Mars, Venus, Lilith, Moon, okay? And it tells us how love will wound us. And Libra is a sign of partnership and relationships. So here the wounding will be when it comes to relating to others, and how we want to fulfill ourselves, to complete ourselves by joining with another. Maybe that is the lesson Chiron and Libra will teach you, that you don't need someone to complete you. Okay, even if you thought that way before, once you complete yourself, maybe the right person will come and join with you in absolute harmony, because Libra ultimately seeks harmony. So think of the Two of Cups, when two people stand on an equal platform and exchange the two cups, looking into each other's eyes. There is no me over you, there is no control, there is no deception, there's openness. So maybe this is what chironic wounds in Libra will teach us about how to deal with broken hearts, how to love again in spite of having lost 100 times. Okay, partnerships, professional also, all our interpersonal relationships are governed by Libra. Okay, it's a point in the zodiac when spirit and matter are in equilibrium. Okay, it rules the pelvis. It's a point which helps us stand up erect, to return to open our Sahasrara chakra, to unite with the divine. So this is a very pivotal point of the zodiac. Okay. Now, Chiron, the wound that never heals, the archetype of the shaman in Scorpio. So the wounding will definitely have to do with sexuality, maybe death, maybe some kind of change that was too drastic, too painful to adapt to, maybe sexual abuse and trauma. Like I said, that a difficult 8th house Chiron can mean sexual abuse and trauma. Okay, so with Chiron and Scorpio, there's always wounding that has to do with secrets. Scorpio is the sign of secrets. So maybe you kept a secret that comes out, maybe somebody kept a secret from you that comes out, and it devastates your life. It forces you to recalibrate every single thing you thought of and perceived of. So it basically restructures your whole identity. So remember, Scorpio is a sign of the discipleship. Okay, it's when matter yearns to return to spirit. Okay, now it's been living this wheel of the zodiac from infinite lifetimes. So at some point in Libra, it's a balance when the soul starts to retrace itself, and then you go into Scorpio. Scorpio, the deep sign of the murky unconscious, ruled by Pluto, and that is the sign that is most feared, the sign of death and regeneration, transmutation. So this is where Chiron gives us some deep lessons. Okay, how to take the base experiences we've had when it comes to sex or unhealthy attachments, and how do we transmute that energy. Scorpio rules all the sexual organs, so this is the very focal point of the sexual energy. And sexual energy can be a huge tool for manifestation of any kind. It is essentially the creative energy, the most powerful and sublime creative energy. It creates human beings. So the Scorpio energy, once channelized through Chiron, can be of great profound depth. Okay, you can use this energy for sex magic. You can manifest through any kind of deep meditation that has to do with the unconscious or symbology. Scorpio is a sign of the detective. So there's definitely something that's wounded you, that was kept from you, and or you have kept something from someone and that deeply wounds you. So Scorpio is also the sign that rules taxes, debts. So Chiron here can definitely shove you in some debt, or maybe you're just working paycheck to paycheck, and you just buying things you don't really need, and you have to pay all these monthly installments. At that point, you've got to realize that you got to restructure your whole life and come out of those debts. Okay, and taxes, Chiron here will get you if you're not paying your taxes, if you're not doing the right thing. So I've seen this happen. This can be problematic. So ultimately, Scorpio is about psychic energy, and Chironic energy is the opening of the psychic energy. So you can understand how they actually work together. So after your Chiron return, that happens at the age of 51, then do you truly start seeing that, okay, this is how this is why I wore that mask, this is what that happened, this is what happened for that. So you start to see a lot of things working out, and you realize the power of your intuition. Chiron in Scorpio is definitely very intuitive, like Chiron in Cancer, Chiron in Sagittarius, Chiron in Pisces. We've seen that they're like really psychic, these energies, especially Chiron in Pisces. And we've had that happening for so long, and it's been crazy. So now, Chiron is linked to the Antahkarana, or the rainbow bridge, the bridge that brings messages from the spirit into the world of matter. So this is what Chiron is. Essentially, this Chironic bridge is the Antahkarana. And from here, we get our intuitive epiphanies. And we're like, oh my God, okay, why didn't I think of that? And that falls into place, and this falls into place, and you're like, okay, wow, I'm finally starting to see how things work. And it may not be what I hoped for. It may be that I am still wounded, I'm still hurting, but it's brought me to this place where I'm comfortable with who I have become. I'm comfortable with my pain. I acknowledge that pain. I acknowledge that wound. Maybe the pain does not even exist. Maybe it's just a scab, a remainder of that wound, you know, and wear that wound like a badge of honor. Okay, so this is the chironic awareness, and it opens you up, and it's like that. The Sabian symbol for when Chiron was discovered was 3 of Taurus, and the Sabian symbol goes like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So you know there is this metaphoric gold lying at the end of this rainbow. Okay, did I say window? A rainbow, right? So Chiron and Scorpio will give you that proverbial pot of gold. Chiron and Sagittarius, wounding to do with your own spiritual beliefs, higher education, maybe college education, travel, long distance travel, associating with foreign people, being inclusive. So Chiron and Sagittarius can be a combination of all this. Maybe you become a fanatic, and then maybe you realize that that was not the way to be, and you get reformed and you help other people. So you know, and in your higher philosophies and what you do may clash. Okay, because you believe something, but do you walk your talk? Okay, so with Chiron in Sagittarius, you might not. Okay, so that is something to watch out for. It's best to walk your talk. And Sagittarius is again a very intuitive, fiery, masculine sign that is just about adventure, spiritual adventure. It's about growing. It's ruled by Jupiter, you know, so it's about growing the insides and outsides and everything. It's about growing what's here. It's growing what's here everywhere. Okay, so definitely travel to Sagittarius, long distance travel, some wounding with foreigners. Maybe you don't support the refugees, or maybe you've had some experiences whereby you do support them. However it is for you, there is always this me and them, unless you've integrated your Chironic lesson. Okay, now Chiron in Capricorn. Okay, now of course wounding that deals with structures. Saturn sets up all these structures, legal, judiciary, even hotels and all these places, asylums, all these structures. And maybe you have some wounding when it comes to them. Maybe you were incarcerated for something that was not even your fault, or reprimanded, or maybe you feel like the justice system failed you in a way. You feel like whatever you make is not enough. See, Capricorn is very into possession and security, just like Taurus, the earth sign. So Capricorn's also very egotistical. So Chiron here and wants to be the boss. So here Chiron can show you, you know, when you're not the boss, how it feels, and it can make it really hard. But then when you understand why it had to be how it had to be, then when you become the boss, you know exactly what to do and how to be a better human being. Ultimately, that's what we are here for, to help one another go back home. And home is this oneness, one consciousness. Wherever that is, we are fused in one, or we are separate identities. We are one in this quantum entanglement. And Capricorn is actually the sign of discipleship and initiation. Like the mountain goat, you have to tread on and tread on and tread on. But with Chiron in Capricorn, this endurance can be put to test. You can be vulnerable at points when you have to endure huge, really tough times, or huge trails, or whatever it is, metaphorical, literal, So Chiron in Aquarius, right? Now, Aquarius is a sign of the eccentric and the genius. It is a sign of the internet. It rules astrology. Rules innovation. It is the Nikola Tesla sign. So what happens when you have Chiron in Aquarius? Maybe you have wounding to do with technology. We literally get hurt by technology in some way. Maybe you have wounding to do with becoming an innovator. Of course, don't forget Aquarius's networks, your larger networks and community. So there's always the possibility of being wounded by your community. Aquarius is the eccentric, the outsider. So maybe that actually was a huge source of wounding, Chiron and Aquarius. And you felt like you can deal with it at times, but Chiron is psychic energy. Think of the glyph of Chiron. It opens up doors to a new understanding, to a new vista that you did not know existed in front of you. Okay, so it's basically the wound that never heals. Yes, but it is a wound that is necessary for our soul evolution. Okay, because in this world of manifestation, we are surrounded by duality. So we need to understand this duality, and Aquarius is as dualistic as they can get. Remember, all the air signs are very dualistic, but Aquarius, look at the glyph of Aquarius, the two waves, the sine and cosine waves of creation, electricity. Aquarius, the water bearer. Okay, it's pouring the waters of life as it's moving through. So here there is definitely wounding when it comes to your own ability to stand out, to go against the crowd. Maybe you feel this desperate compulsion to fit in, okay, or maybe the desperate compulsion to stand out to such a degree that you are just full of piercings and tattoos, or you're just wearing something so outrageous that you want to shock everyone into noticing you. Aquarius can deal a lot with shock factor. It's like Uranus, the wild card. Uranus is always the wild card, okay? So Chiron and Aquarius can feel like quite a wild card. You're dealing with this trauma and you thought you got over it, but bam, it comes and hits you again. And you're left wondering, okay, I did it differently this time. Did it work? Did it not work? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And when once you think that, okay, that definitely did not work, bam, the problem goes away and you solve it. So it's this wounding with trying to walk your own path, I think, because Aquarius really is about forging your own path. Right? Now, Chiron in Pisces. We've just had Chiron in Pisces from 2011. So yeah, as Chiron, and I have my moon in Pisces. So as Chiron moved into Pisces, I got married, and I was already with my man for a long time before that, but we decided to get married, and I had a lot of pain when it came to my animals, a lot of stuff, a lot of psychic awakening, I think, truly started for me. I always had this psychic energy, but it went it just shot through the roof when it was 2011. I just didn't know what happened, and that is Chiron in Pisces. It's Pisces is again the otherworldly sign, the sign that rules other dimensions, and Chiron is the key that opens up these other dimensions. So we felt like this extreme opening of the psychic intuitive eye with Chiron and Pisces over these years, and Chiron's just moved into Aries now. So a new time is beginning, a new era is beginning, and Chiron stays for a long time in Aries. So 8 years of this is going to go on, and this is going to of course, signal a new path for us. And with Chiron and Pisces, the wounding can be spiritual, can be psychic in nature, can be demonic in nature. Okay, Chiron and Pisces. We've seen so many star children, indigo children, and so many gifted children, being born after this time. It's because this Chiron and Pisces era is totally, it has to do with psychic babies. It has to do with if our personal planets are being touched, like my moon was touched and it was opposite my ascendant Venus, Mars. It just changes you forever. And it just makes you see so much and feel so much. And yet never was that feeling or that knowing too much to handle. It was just what I needed. And even working with other people, I think this is essential, because with Chiron we think, okay, Chiron is this really big sadist, it's almost like this a dom, BDSM dom, tying us into submission and really torturing us. But no, Chiron is all about inner awakening and inner alchemy. It tells you that yes, you are wounded, acknowledge that, understand that, and then move on. Okay, so what if you can't heal your wound? So many of us can't. But when we heal others, we heal that wound in ourselves, even if it's just metaphoric and not literal. Okay, so this is how powerful this Chironic energy is. It tells you of your vocation, it tells you of your love life, and how it will wound you. It tells you about, how you will handle the kind of vocation you will choose, how you will exhibit those qualities, how you're going to work with people. It tells you so much. Chiron by placement and by house and by sign and aspects. You learn so much, because this is probably one of my favoritist archetypes in astrology, the wounded healer. And Carl Jung basically coined this wounded healer archetype, and he got it from Chiron. It was Chiron whose story he told through the wounded healer archetype. And for everybody that is interested in energy work or tarot or astrology, you know that we set out on this journey of healing to heal ourselves primarily. I remember reading those Linda Goodman horoscopes, those sun signs, when I was a child. I was really young, and I started reading those. So I remember how I wanted to learn about myself, and how my day was going to go, and all that. And today I want to learn for you. So this is the graph, this is the arch of the Chironic pattern in our life, So it reaches its peak at 51, of course. And if you live a century, then you have your second Chiron return, which was, I don't know, possibly a place of great wisdom and depth and understanding and compassion. Don't forget, Chiron was very righteous and very compassionate, and it was his deed that got him immortalized. He gave up his life for Prometheus, and he got severely affected, and he was in pain for the rest of his existence, and that's why he decided to do away with his life, and then he couldn't die. So that's why Zeus made him immortal, and he became the teacher of so many gods. So this is how you learn, you evolve, you grow. And by understanding Chiron, it really helps you understand why certain patterns exist, why certain wounds keep on haunting you, why certain repetitive patterns of self-sabotage or something else just keeps playing out. Remember, everything is a projection of your own mind. So once you understand the chironic wounds, you'll understand how to control those projections. That's what he hoped everybody would do. And that was his wisdom, a great astrologer, a great oracle, a really wise man. And he leaves behind his legacy of delving into knowledge, not for selfish purposes, because he knew now he could not be healed. But he continued his healing journey because he wanted to heal others. So coming from a place of selflessness and devotion. I hope you liked that video as much as I liked making it for you. Don't forget the like button. Please like this video and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think. Visit my website www.tinaheals.com. I also write blogs, so check out my blogs, and see you soon, and thank you for being here.